name's Matt Reed. I'm a student here at Kingsbury Bible School. I'm from Windsor, Ontario, in the southern part of Canada. And I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit of what God's done in my life. So like most of you, I was born at a young age. I was born in a family where my parents loved Jesus, and I went to church every Sunday. So I went to like Bible school, or not like Sunday school, where you learn about stories of the Bible and stuff, growing up with that. And I just remember like one Sunday, there's this one guy that came to speak. And he like went up to the front and was speaking, and he's just like, "You're going to hell unless you believe in Jesus," kind of thing. And of course I'm like 7, so that kind of freaked me out, and just a little bit. And so like that night I was like talking to my mom, and I was like, how do I not go to hell? Because I want to go to heaven. And so she told me about Jesus and asking forgiveness of my sins and spending eternal life with him in heaven. And so at that time it was like kind of like a simple little kid, and I was just like, sure, it's like fire insurance kind of thing, right? So I accepted Jesus then. I didn't really understand the whole thing about like having a relationship with him though. And during my childhood, I had a fairly good childhood, but there's a lot of ups and downs and stuff. Mainly when I was about 13 years old, I was like the shortest kid in my class. I was about 4'10", and a lot of my friends were tall giants, and they were really good at sports, and I wasn't. And I got picked on a lot. I got bullied quite a bit, and it just like destroyed my self-confidence and esteem. And I just wasn't very popular. I was really shy and quiet. I like to hang out by myself because I didn't really have a whole lot of friends. And the friends I did have, I felt like, since they're like tall and they're popular and athletic, I felt like I didn't really fit in at all. And I was just kind of like, okay, like I don't really like the qualities of myself, and I don't like my characteristics. And I was just like, man, I wish I was like that guy. I wish I was like, I could do that and stuff. And so I became very like pessimistic about myself. And at my church at this time, a lot of my friends had stopped coming or they moved away and stuff. And so it was a really hard time in my life because I found myself not only being like a loner at school, but I was like a loner at church as well. And those are like, between those two places, that was the majority of the time I spent back and forth between there. And so I found myself just like the next couple months after that just being like really depressed and just having no motivation to do anything. I did really poorly in school that year, and just I didn't even want to bother to try, and I didn't set goals for myself because I was just like, what's the point? And at that time in my life, I could tell you that I didn't really have a purpose in my life. I was just kind of living for the weekends because I didn't have to go to school. And like I hated going to school, and church wasn't all that cool at that time either. And it got to the point where I was thinking, what's the point of living? There's one time I came home from school, and I was like frustrated, being picked on a lot, and just, even though it's been happening for a while, it was just like the bullying was just pushing me to like the edge. And I was just like getting to the point where I told God, I was just like, God, if this is what it's going to be like just take me out of it. Like, I don't want to live anymore. If this is what's going to happen, like every day at school and stuff like that, it's not worth it. And I was like thinking a lot, like just like, what's the point of living? And just a lot of suicidal thoughts, and just no one would care if I was gone and stuff like that. And like maybe my parents would, but other than that, it's like my friends wouldn't miss me, and they got a lot of other stuff going on for them. And there's one day where I was sitting on my bed, and I was like really mad and frustrated and upset, and no one was home, and the radio was on, and there's this American country artist, like all the music genres on the radio, but like, and it's Brad Paisley, and he sings a song about if he was like, when he gets to the end of his life, if he could write a letter back to himself and send it back in time to himself when he was 17 years old, and just kind of like encouraging him then. So I just want to kind of read the lyrics, the bridge that kind of caught my attention. Where he says, "You've got so much up ahead, you'll make new friends, you should see your kids and wife. And I'd end by saying, have no fear, these are nowhere near the best days of your life. And though you've got so much going for you, going good, going right, I know at 17 it's hard to see past Friday night. I wish you wouldn't worry and let it be. I'd say have a little faith and you'll see. And this song didn't turn my life around completely there, but it did make me realize, like, it just gave me hope and like motivation that, hey, like, God's not finished with me yet. I'm only 13 years old, and just like, I want to be able to see like my future family and like post-secondary education and stuff like that. And there's so many other more memories in my life. It's like, why am I giving up now? And then the other thing I realized was that although I was a Christian, I called myself a Christian, I never had a personal relationship with Jesus, really. I never tried to study the Bible. I never tried to grow spiritually close to God. Like, I barely even like prayed to God unless he's like, God, help my sick grandma or something like that. Whereas I realized I need to change that. And that summer, at the end of school, I went to a Bible camp in northern Michigan, where a lot of the speakers and stuff there, they were talking about how you can't just become a Christian and that's it. You have to progress, and you have to develop a relationship between you and God and Jesus, and you have to spread it to other people. And like, I looked at my life at that time, and I was like, I haven't really tried to talk to my friends about Jesus, and like the friends I did have at that time, and I never had that relationship between me and God. And I realized right then and there, it's like, I need to change that. So I rededicated my life to Jesus that summer, and then looking back on high school, I obviously grew taller, and yeah, I can like reach the top shelf now, and my mom can't, so it feels good. And I got better at sports. I made new friends in high school, and I got to play on my school sports team and stuff, and that meant a lot to me at that time. And I graduated high school with good grades, and a lot of good memories of just growing closer to my friends I made there and my family, and most importantly, like growing closer to Jesus and like having that relationship through high school, whereas before that there was nothing there. And looking back on all the things God blessed me in high school, it was just really great to see that. And this past summer, I had two friends that had come to Cape and Ray before me 2 years ago, and they told me about this place, and I was just like, sure, I'll check into it. And when I looked it up, it was like a month until classes start. I was like, oh, I better apply. So I applied, and I got in, and it was pretty expensive, but it's worth it. And God provided the funds for me, and it's just like, it's so great to look back on it now and just be like, whoa, like, God really wanted me here, because I wouldn't have been able to come here. And a year ago, thinking, hey, I'd be in England talking to a huge group of people was like not even in my mind or anywhere close to that. And just looking back at when I was 13 years old and how God brought me down to rock bottom to build me from the ground up closer to Him, it's like it wasn't just a series of unfortunate events. It was like God wanted me to be closer to Him, and so He brought me back. He brought me down where I had nothing to bring me closer to Him, and it's so cool to see that, how He really strengthened me then. And now I can relate to other people, and it's really cool to see that. And the other thing was, I have a purpose in life now. I feel like before, I was just kind of like going through the same thing in school and stuff. Whereas I realize now that life is worth living, and it's like that motivation and relationship I have between God and just trusting Him. And I don't really know what I'll be doing a year from now, and that just trust work. I feel a lot more protected and secure now that I have a relationship with God, because back when I was 13 and I got lonely, it was just like, I'm by myself. But now it's like, and when I do feel lonely, I know God's with me, and that just makes me really feel protected, and I know He'll guide me where He wants me in the future. And Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. And so I'm just keep trusting God, and He'll wants me to. So, yes.